Hey friends, it's me, the Ebony Otaku, the well-rounded nerd. So this is a different kind of video. As y'all know, I do a lot of painting of figures, and I just got a new airbrush. So I thought I'd unbox it and test it to see how great it is. I've spent the latter part of my day reorganizing my desk. I came back from some work travel and sat down at my desk and went, it was a hot mess. A mess. So I've reorganized my whole office. But now I have a box in here that needs to be opened. And I want to test it out because Valentine's is coming up as of the time I'm recording this. So it's not Valentine's yet, but it will be. Actually, I think this video will come out after Valentine's. But I got my husband one as well. So I wanted to see if they were any good. So just, I've not done this kind of video before, so this is a new thing. If it works out, we might do more. I might do some actual painting videos, but yeah, let's test an airbrush. Now, this is the airbrush that I actually use the most of. This is a Grex. It's a great little airbrush. So if you are one who does any of the painting activities, you'll know that when it comes to doing things like primer, shading, shadows, it's good to have an airbrush. And I'll be honest, a lot of what I do, I literally do by hand. I usually just use my airbrush, if I'm doing one big base color, or if I'm doing the priming to get, that's what I use my airbrush for, because I can literally paint shadows by hand. I have a really steady painting hand. When you saw my kill team that I did, all of those lines I did individually. I can dot the smallest eyeball without aid, but airbrushes have their uses. So I'm opening up my Grex model here, and this specifically is the Genesis XGI2 with a 0.2 millimeter nozzle. So this one's really good for base coats and priming, basically. Now, don't ask me all the particulars about an airbrush. I know what I use and that it works for me. My husband has a couple as well. He's got one that's got kind of the more trigger kind. This particular one, and they're heavier than they look, by the way. But this particular airbrush is the pull-back handle kind. And I've got the quick release here for the attachment to the air compressor. So we've got a couple of air compressors, a portable one and a big one that stays on the floor. I use the portable one, honestly, on my side of our painting table. But airbrushes are interesting because there's a lot of little pieces in here. And if you don't treat these pieces nicely, your airbrush will not work the way you want it to. If you came for an airbrush tutorial, I'm so sorry. I'm just letting you know that these things are complicated. But once you get used to them, the way that you start learning an airbrush is probably going to be the one you like the most. And I like this action. I feel like I've got a lot of control over the paint and whatnot. This little cylinder is supposed to be on here to I never use the cap. This is the paint well. I never ever use the cap. And this bit here, I'll be honest, this comes off. It's magnetic. I never use it either. I know, bad, right? But the reason that I'm looking at the little USB one, which is the one I'm going to open here in a second, is we go to a lot of hobby shops around town, one in particular, and sometimes they have what we call brush and banter. So you bring stuff you want to paint, and you just, can use the paints of the shop there. They have lots of good, and they usually have Pro Acryl out, which Pro Acryl is a really good brand. I tend to use Pro Acryl and Citadel brands. I've got some others for bigger projects where I don't want to use my really expensive little bit of paint. But they tend to have really nice paints out. But sometimes people bring a big tray of stuff that they want to work on and you want to prime, which, plugs and cords and air compressors, that gets real annoying to kind of deal with. So a friend of mine, a work friend actually, who happens to be just as big a dork as I am, mentioned they make USB airbrushes. And I was like, how can it be powerful enough and it's USB? Don't get me wrong. I'm not anti-USB. The little light I'm using right now is USB. Those lights back there and those over there, they're USB. This headset here, USB. They're all plugged into outlets though. And it's a wireless one as well, uncorded. Let me say it that way. It's not wireless. It's not electronic. It is, you don't have to have the air compressor hose hooked up to it. This one, you have to have an air hose hooked up to it for it to work. So I'm like, what is this mischief? What is this magic? I had to find out. So let us find out together. I think at some point I'm supposed to say hashtag not sponsored. Obviously not. Have you seen how many subscribers I have? No one's paying me to hawk their stuff. This is just stuff I like. Okay? Disclaimer, done. So let's open this guy. So this is a multi-function airbrush kit. And I've already forgotten what brand it was. You know what I'm reaching for. Need my little multi-tool. I gotta say, like, having redone the desk this afternoon, it looks real great. I just, oh man, like, you know, you get to live in your desk. I think somebody commented when I posted the picture of how awful my desk looked. They were like, it looks lived in. Yeah, it looks like somebody with no home training lives here. You know? But I'm the kind of person that finds joy in order, obviously. So when things get a little discombobulated, I get discombobulated. So it's better for me if I can get things back in order, which I did today, and I'm very happy. Now I feel like I can be productive. I can't be productive when things are a hot mess. Okay, so you're seeing this for the first time just like me. Now look, I'll be honest. We know I'm shallow. I have a favorite color. Everything I own, it has that in it somewhere. It's just how I am. Okay? I may have bought this on a whim when my coworker said, hey, look up brand blah, 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 and saw that it came in paint, which meant that I had to have it. So, anywho, when you see this pink airbrush come out, don't judge me. Or judge me. Just keep it to yourself. Or don't. No, judge me in the comments. Didn't help the algorithm. I love new box sound. I love new box sound. All right, so immediately it has the instructions for the multi-function airbrush. I think they're calling it multifunction because, oh, already looking at it. Oh, it's pretty. You'll see it in a second. But I believe this can be used for not just painting figures, which is what I'm going to use it for, but it can be used for makeup and other little things like that as well, crafts and stuff. I'm not famous. I don't need to spray paint makeup on myself. I do wear makeup once in a while. I mostly wear it for either if we're going out on a big date or if I'm doing a big, like, in-person thing for work. I wear makeup. You know, just makeup's not my thing. But just, you know, career-wise, if you do have a job where you need to present in front of people, look, I'm talking to everybody right here. It doesn't matter what your gender is. Like, just a little bit of attention to your eyes and shine goes a long way. Especially when you speak for a living, you have to be up in front of people. They have to be able to follow your eyes and attention. And makeup does help with that. So I'm not wearing any makeup right now. I have on chapstick. That's it. So I'm fortunate that I have a skin complexion that does not require me to need makeup. But when I'm in front of people, I do wear it because you are intentionally directing people's eyes and making yourself more expressive. So if this little airbrush works, who knows? Maybe one day I will spray paint my face. So let's take a look at it. This is cool. So it says, I get an airbrush body, the cleaning set. Oh, it gives me a little cleaning wand. That's great. A metal cup, plastic cup, the USB cable, and a dropper. Okay. All right. So it's got its own itty bitty little air charging thing. Okay. Let's see what's in here. So first there's this. Keep your jokes to yourself. I'm assuming. Okay, so I just pressed the button and it started flashing red. Okay, I'm gonna unpress that. Oh, okay, so it's USB-C. My assumption is that this is the air canister. Like, I've got a portable one. It doesn't look like this. Okay, you know, while we're talking, I'm just gonna take my little USB-C cable here while we're doing it, and it's pink. I know you're shocked. We're gonna plug this guy in. We're gonna plug him in. There we go. We're gonna let you just sit there and charge. What else is in here? So, oh, you can't get enough of these. So I actually had to buy this separate for my other airbrush. But if you're going to airbrush, you need the cleaning brushes. And they always come on this little key ring. And you need something that you can set it on that's like black where you can see the bits and remember how to put them back. Oh, this is the best one because that gets like way into the itty bitty bits. But you've got to have your set of cleaning brushes. Okay, so that's nice. It came with that because I only paid $30 for this thing. It was on sale. It's usually like $75. But when on the day we were talking about it and I looked it up, it just happened to be on sale. And I was like, well, by golly, God wants me to buy it. So, all right. So it's got all these little extra cups and stuff. Oh, okay. So this looks like it's the actual well. So that's what freaked me out when I looked at it. I was like, where is the ink well? There it is. Here is the well. It's metal. It does not feel as weighty and sturdy as my other one. All right, but here is the actual airbrush itself. Not gonna lie, kind of love it. What do you think? What do you think? So it's got, okay, so it's got the trigger mechanism that I'm used to. So, oh, it's nice. Great, smoother than I thought it would be. When I got my, okay, so this bit isn't magnetic like the other one. It doesn't come off. It's there to stay. When I got my other airbrush, the place we bought it from, which is a place in town that does what they call paint and take, where you can go use all of their paints and sit at their stations. A lot of the experts there who paint figures for a living, for like armies and stuff, will give you advice. I actually took a lesson there to learn how to use my airbrush, and I actually got 2 lessons. Just so I know how to take care of it, take it apart, clean it, all that kind of stuff. Very important. Like, these are expensive. Like, even the cheap ones are expensive. Like, this was supposed to be $70, and I got it for $30. I just got lucky on Amazon that day. But the other one that I have, my Grex, this bad boy, nope, that's not him. Where'd he go? What? Ooh, there it is. Setting stuff on my desk and losing it because I reorganized. Now I can't find anything. But this one here, I paid retail for this. I mean, he was just over $200. And the other one that it's more of a trigger style, that one was like close to $3. So these are not cheap toys. Nerds be needing to make money. That's why we're nerds, because we need to make money. But this bit doesn't feel as weighty as it does on the other one, which is fine. Whew. She be dropping stuff. Let's try that again. So this is definitely the well. That is upside down. That's not where that goes. It goes here. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my other one again, just so you can see the difference. So that screws in. Not gonna lie, I kind of love that it's pink. But let's look at the other one. So I'm gonna open this guy back up, so you can see the difference in between the two. And it can be hard to change airbrush styles. Like, I like the look of the other one my husband has, but I don't like the function of it because I'm just so used to using a certain type of airbrush. It'd be really hard to get used to this again. So, no, okay. Oh, this guy, the Grex, this one weighs like, gotta be 3 times as much as this one. Like, this one's heavy, but it is, I'm not going to say this one's not well made. I'm not saying that at all, but it's also meant to be portable, you know? It is meant to be portable. It's meant to be lightweight. And if you can use it for makeup, I would imagine, if you're using it for makeup, you know, and you're going around somebody's face, if you were to drop it, you don't want to be chipping somebody's tooth or something. So I would wager that's part of the reason, the design. Part of the weight is also the well here. This is much lighter than this. Like, this weighs on its own like 3 times just what that weighs. So, and it does tend to tilt it forward a little bit as far as control. But I'm used to it. So you get, the way you learn is the way you keep doing it. So I'm putting the old one, well, current one, back in its box. Because what I want is when I go to those paint and takes, now I don't have to have, you know, the hoses and the cords and all of that. Like, if this really will USB charge, like, I'm assuming that this is the air canister. So it's got just enough pressure. And since what I primarily use it for is priming, then that actually should be like a really good combo. Huh. I am more impressed than I should be. Now, so here's where the air compressor would attach. Where are the instructions? Let me see here. So it says here, connect compressor. Oh, yeah, fill, and then... All right, so that is a little air compressor. Let's see if it's charged enough to use, because usually these things come a little charged out the box. So I've just unattached it. So we're screwing it in. I was going to do a little test paint. I'm not sure I'm going to do that. I think I'm actually do a proper painting video with this and test it out. So there's the power button. No. It just started blowing as soon as I turned it on. So how do you control it? Like, that's it? You turned it on, it's going? What? It has no power. Okay, so it did not come out of the box charged. You know what I think I'm going to do now that I have looked at all of these little pieces and stuff? I think I'm going to do a little proper paint and comparison between this one. But what do you think? Like, I can, like that, just speaking as a female, I can say that this fits comfortably. Like, I can see myself charging this up and taking it with me, because here's the thing. Because this is the canister and compressor all in one, that makes portability. Like, if I can see this, like, I'm not going to do it. I can't see spray painting myself. I see the appeal, because this will fit in my painting backpack as well. So I've got a couple of bags that I use. I'm just reaching over and grabbing one of them. This is my D&D bag. And it's got space in the top where, you know, you can hold your figures and stuff like that. It's a really nice bag. But, you know, when you're packing these bags, you don't want to overburden yourself. So if, like, I'm using that to transport figures I'm going to paint, if I'm not going, like one place we go has air canister connections that you can use. So I can use my Grex one. Like this, but this guy, like, on brush and banter nights, this is wonderful. And not gonna lie, because I travel for work sometimes, it would be nice to paint on the road. I can take this. Like, this is more than portable, because I can put my paints in one of my travel paint cases and throw them in my suitcase, and this can come with me on the plane because it's nothing dangerous. So, I am impressed. I had no idea such magic existed. What do you think? Would you use this? Should I do a proper test between this one and my regular airbrush to see how they are? Because, I mean, honestly, just looking at it, I'm just like, wow, it's great. But it's pink, so I was easily won over. What do you think? So I'm going to take this guy, and I'm going to plug him in on my desk, and I'm just going to let him charge. And then I'll come back to it after it's fully charged, and I'll do a little testy on it to see how it does. It's got a lot of bits and pieces here. So it's got an extra inkwell. That's a lot of paint. I do like that it came with 2 extras. So these apparently could screw them in, use more. That's a lot of paint. Like, even when you use an airbrush, you typically need to put thinner. Like this, I was going to do a little test here, but I've decided against it at the last moment because I want to do it properly, and I'll do it in this place where we actually do painting, because it's just like, hey, you're about to make a whole mess on this desk that you just cleaned, and you don't want to do that. But this is a lot. Like, you put a couple of drops of paint in, well, more than a couple. Like, you put like 10 drops of paint in, and then you put thinner in it so it doesn't clog up your airbrush. What are you painting that needs that much? Are you that ugly? No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Don't come for me. I can say that to have multiples, because this gives me basically 3 wells. I can have 3 colors going. So if I'm like, because I've got my ultramarines, my box back there, they're going to be ultramarines and salamanders. And at some point I'm going to do probably an Emperor's Children kill team, because those are my favorites. I love me the bearers of the word. Vulcan lives. Robute is not wrong, and Fulgrim's just, you gotta love him. Yeah, like I want that kind of confidence. I want Fulgrim confidence. But yeah, you can do multiple colors. So like say if I'm, wanting to base coat all of my ultramarines and salamanders on the same day, I don't have to go wash this one out immediately. I can just switch over and do this one and do all my cleanup at the end. So that I will say that's kind of handy to have multiple cups. I can see that reason. I still don't see why you need this much paint in an airbrush. Give me a reason. Like, are we making a scale bottle of the Titanic and need that much black? Like, what is the reason? You don't have one. That's the reason. But no, this is great. So I'm going to sit here and let it charge. Just going to let it charge. And then, yeah, I kind of love it. I'm not even kidding here. Like, I was not prepared to be impressed. And here's like why I'm so happy about this, because I got my husband one for Valentine's. We are both dorks. Like, oh my God, come here, let's talk about this. So like, I know Valentine's will be past by the time this video plays, but I feel a soft spot in my heart for the dating nerds out there. Like, it is hard for the nerds because there's so many types of nerds out there, but this is one of those areas where you can find like easy commonality. So like when it comes to painting figures, like there's so much. So what we're doing for Valentine's Day is we're going to one of our favorite hobby shops. There's two in town that we frequent the most. One that's near where we live and one that's across town that has a lot of experts that give us painting advice. So we're going to go to that one and do a paint intake, which means we can use their paints, sit at a booth, and we can take it over for the whole day. That's basically what we're going to do for Valentine's after work. We're both taking a half day. We're just going to sit there and paint. We're painting different things. I am going to be painting little gnomes. They're here somewhere because I was going to use them as an example. Oh, there they are. So I'm going to be painting D&D gnomes. He does Dungeons and Dragons. I do not do D&D, but I do love to paint figures. I'm taking a break from my Warhammer right now, so I'm going to be painting gnomes. Look at them. Look how cute they are. Let's see. Hold on. Look at them. Look, little girl gnome. Yep. This little guy here, he's great. Yep, gonna paint him. And then we have some other figures left from things. Yeah, just gonna paint these figures for him for D&D. That was a Lord of the Rings figure. I got a little orc, little goblin I'm gonna paint there. Yeah, so I'm gonna paint these for him for D&D for Valentine's. On Valentine's Day, I'm gonna sit there and paint all these little guys. He actually, while I was out traveling, I got him an Elegoo, a new 3D printer for Christmas this past year, and he has been printing me my first Titan in pieces. Obviously, I'll have to put it together, but like that's how you cross the bridges in the vast chasms of nerd love. You find those things the other person likes, and you figure out how to make it special. So we have commonality in that we like to paint, but we paint different things. He likes Warhammer, but he's only doing orcs and grots in the sci-fi, nothing else. Me, I'm like, Warhammer, huh? Doesn't really matter what it is. But I loved painting figures before we even met. Like right now, the big thing that I'm working on is I finished the first 5 of my kill team, which is enough to do 1-page rules. I'm kind of satisfied for that for now. Before I do any more Warhammer, I finished my Aeronautica. He played Aeronautica with a bunch of guys, and I painted the Necron ships because they look cool, and I started playing the game. So now every Monday I go and play Aeronautica with a bunch of dudes, and it's great. You find those things where like it crosses over, because you're never 100% going to always be into the same thing. But where you can find that commonality, like I'm not going to play D&D, but I do love to paint. And I'm painting a Yor and an Anya and a Lloyd right now, scale models. But my Anya is way too small, so he's going to print me an Anya that's bigger so that she matches my Lloyd and my Yor better. Like that's how you build nerd love. It's not about finding someone who likes everything you do. That's not possible. He doesn't watch Sailor Moon. And I'm okay with that. He doesn't watch Sailor Moon. I'm not an orc and grot person. But we have mutual respect for each other's nerdities, and then we find those ways that we can do our nerd hobbies together. So when we go into our paint and take date, you know, in the place that we're going, like there's little places to eat and whatnot. We'll go have lunch together. Well, I guess it'll be late, early dinner, because it'll be later in the afternoon. But we'll go have lunch together, and we will enjoy coffee at a nice little coffee place there together. He's gonna work on his orcs and grots. I'm gonna paint some gnomes for him. I got him a new airbrush. He doesn't know he's getting it yet, but he is. By the time y'all see this, he would have gotten it. You know, so find those little things that make a connection, and then from there you can figure out how to expand, because neither one of us knew the other was that into painting. We just knew that we had properties that we liked, but we both like the 3D printing, we both like the painting, but we just like different properties. That's okay. He's going to sit there and paint his orcs. I'm going to sit around and paint some gnomes. Hopefully by the end of this week I will have Anya and Yor finished, and then I can start on Lloyd. Lloyd's going to be a pain. But anyway, that's my little bit of nerd dating for the video, since, you know, Valentine's just happened. I'm here for you. Anyway, as usual, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to do a test of the airbrush in a whole separate video. It's too much to do to squeeze it into this one. This video ended up being 3 hours long. So, but now I'm going to let it sit here and charge. It's super cute. I love it. Like, it's just sitting on my desk, and it might live here on my desk. It might not live in the paint room. Yeah, paint room. We're those kind of nerds. But please like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope you had a fantastic Valentine's. If you didn't, that's okay. Your nerdy match is out there, and I'm here for you. I'm going to help you find your nerdy match, all right? Just keep coming back. Come back for the lulls, but come back for the nerd love advice as well. But now, I will see you in the next one.